Hello everyone, welcome to or back to the new grid. I'm Kyle, and in today's video I'm going to describe how full self-driving beta got recalled because of running stop signs. Now I want to show you exactly what it's doing and how it's running those stop signs so you can kind of observe how this may or may not have been the wisest type of recalls to make by NHTSA. So I do want to point out that this is a very snowy video, so there is a lot of snow on the ground and it's a pretty slippery situation, so it does have a harder time stopping and it has a harder time taking off. So that kind of makes this condition escalated, because since it's having a harder time stopping and coming to a complete stop and it knows it, it basically knows that, hey, it's also open, so we might as well just proceed rather than stopping at that stop sign. So this first stop sign, it basically takes and goes to about 5 miles an hour as it's slowing down and takes off. And then immediately once it takes off, because the tires are spinning so much, it tells me that I have to take over. So that's not typical of this situation, that it would run a stop and then make me take over. It's just a situation due to the snowfall. So then we approach the next stop sign and it does pretty much so the same thing. There's no traffic around, so we slow down and it considers taking off. I have to take over again because of the slippery roadways, and we get set up for the next stop sign. And keep in mind that I am trying to limit my speed limit on these roads because it is very dangerous. But we do have a car there, and we come to a complete stop before proceeding on this one. And once I proceed through this intersection, it again makes me take over because it was heading towards a snow pile. And then I take over and re-engage and get onto the next stop sign. And at this stop sign, it's taking a while to slow down. It gets to the approximately 2 miles an hour for this one, and then starts going through the intersection and has me take over yet again just because of this icy situation. So with that, then those are the main stop signs through there. So I turn around and I'm starting to head back towards those stop signs from the other direction, just to show you more of what it's actually doing. So here, as we're approaching this stop sign, it gets close to the edge of the road, so I take over and then I put it back in full self-driving beta right before getting to this stop sign. And there is a car down farther on the street, but it's not within distance, so this time it only slows down to about 5 miles an hour before proceeding through this intersection. And I'd like to also point out that at this point, I do have someone behind me too. So it isn't concerned about the cars behind me. It only is concerned about the cars in that intersection. So this next intersection, there is a car that is in that intersection, and I start stopping. I'm sliding a little bit. The anti-lock brakes kick in, and we come to 1 or 2 mile an hour, and that car is going through, and I continue to go through, so it doesn't completely come to a stop there, but the situation of that intersection was already well known by what the cars were doing, so it was fine, and it was very minimal that it didn't come to a complete stop. Now this one kind of is interesting because of the timing of it. That car is already going through. I'm just hitting this stop sign, and I come to about 2 miles an hour and then take off. And for me, this video footage looks like I come to a stop, but at that 2 miles an hour, the intersection had cleared. The car could see all around it that there's no one else there, so it proceeded through it safely. And then this intersection, it basically does the same, goes to about 5 mile an hour, and then has me take over again to proceed through this intersection because of how slippy that roadway is. So My opinion on this recall is most of you who are watching this, unless you were watching the exact speed limit on the car, you would have probably done the exact same thing while you're going through these intersections. And that's just how most people drive, is that they don't come to a complete stop while proceeding through these intersections. They come close, but they don't come to a complete stop unless there are cars around that they see. So my thinking of this is that NHTSA recalling this was very pointless because, hey, why should it come to a complete stop? It feels like a complete stop, but yet it isn't a complete stop. And I think that that's kind of stupid, that maybe NHTSA should be taking and recalling a whole bunch of all the other vehicle manufacturers, because they require a driver to drive and obey the laws, but drivers don't obey the laws. And clearly with Tesla's enabling drivers to not obey the laws, and they have to recall because of that. So all these other vehicles should be recalled because of that, right? That's kind of my thinking on this. Now, I know that's not going to happen, but Elon Musk does say that at some point, regulators are going to be the ones that make you not have to drive, and that could start coming sooner than we may have anticipated. And that's a scenario that we probably don't want, because I still do like to drive. I also like to ride in beta a lot and see how it performs in these different conditions. So with that, if you liked how I explained this in details, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'll plan on doing more of these videos like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.